the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the cat that. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Station Nation been going up, volume isn't my middle name, still see me in that order book. Need to learn to trade the patience and maybe then you'll start to cook. But still I swear I'm always chasing, I'm dumb as fuck, but don't blow it up. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the cat that. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the cat that. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Station Nation been going up, volume isn't my middle name, still see me in that order book. Need to learn to trade the patience and maybe then you'll start to cook. But still I swear I'm always chasing, I'm dumb as fuck, but don't blow it up. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the cat that. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the cat that. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, I'm still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to a very special call. This is the Q2 Token Holders Update. My name is Cash Donda. I am waiting for the co-founder himself, Mr. Xiang Zhu, to be joining us, and he's going to come in just a little bit. Thanks. It's great to see. Good to see you as well, Prado. Good to see all the folks. I see you, RJ and Yoda, and all the homies are in the building. What I ask, this is a very special call. It's the first time we've ever done this. We've put a lot of time into preparing for this. So I feel a little bit bad saying this, but if you don't mind, give the stream a little retweet. Let the world know what's going on. I think more people coming to this is going to be very good. Muse is right. Let's go. I see my guy Seabass and Nix. All right, we got a bunch of the homies there. Oh, and would you look who it is? Who has decided to join us? Empty room itself? Where did he go? Where did he go? And there he is. What's going on, Xiang? How you doing, brother?
Sorry. I was just finished my shower. I didn't notice.
Well, you're looking clean, brother, and we got some clean things to go through.
You wear like a suit or something like that?
What'd you say?
So should we put on a suit?
I had a suit on earlier. I did a little TV spot like an hour and a half ago, and I did think about continuing to wear it, but I was like, the chat is going to roast me too intensely, and I can't. And Jupiter Exchange pointing out, yes, every time we do this call, Meow also showers right before the call. These co-founders, they like to be clean before they show their face in public. You know?
So we are live right now? Sorry. I didn't even know that.
Yes. Chat, are we live right now? Maybe you could tell them. Well, here's the thing. My StreamYard seems to have... Oh, there it is. There we go. What we're going to do now is go through this right here. Let me switch it around. All right, folks. This is a very special one. Diego, you will get a cash hug over at Breakpoint. My word on that. Yes, we are indeed live, as everyone is pointing out. Xiang, co-founder of Jupiter. My name's Cash. I'm the cat herder over here. And today we have the first ever Q2 token holders update. To my knowledge, this is actually relatively unique among all crypto projects. I don't think this is the kind of thing people do, but you know us at Jupiter, we believe in transparency. We believe in communicating regularly with the community. For those of you who don't know, we do a weekly call that's like this, but this one's going to be a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more alpha-filled, and hopefully going to help put into context everything that's going on across the Jupiterverse. So all of these points are what we're going to go through. Siang, how long do you think this call is going to take? That's the real question.
I mean, like I went through the whole thing. We are back and forth on like how we should do this, and I mean, I think we should just go through everything. I mean, are we going to do a Q&A tomorrow or? Like...
That's right, folks. So let me actually, it's a great point. Let me give a little lay of the land here. So today, right now, we're going to go through a lot of the content of the report, but tomorrow, likely in the morning, we're going to actually send out I think it's like 35 pages now, the PDF. By the way, it looks beautiful. Shout out to the design team over at Jupiter. They really cooked on it. We're going to send that out to the Jupiter email list, which is a few 100,000 people that will get it. And we'll post it to Twitter as well, of course, and Discord. Then at 12 p.m. UTC, we'll host a Twitter town hall so people can come and ask questions as well. So you can try to ask questions now. We have a lot of stuff to go, so we might not be able to answer all of them. But in the QR code that I have at the end of the call, you'll be able to add in questions, and we'll take those on the Twitter space tomorrow. That is the idea. Here is the agenda. Let me also just say, for purposes, this is disclaimer heavy because this is really.
You put up what the lawyer wants us to put up.
I did, in fact. The lawyer was pretty clear we should have this, and I think he was right. But folks, just so everyone knows, this is for informational purposes only. We are not telling you to take any particular financial action. Quite frankly, if you listen to me on financial actions, then you yourself are an idiot. Don't do that. I'm pretty good at building stuff. I'm not so great at financial stuff. But everything that we do in here is really just our best faith effort to put these forward, including some of the metrics that we haven't shared in public before. We're not promising anything. There's no obligations around it, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully people get it. Can we not so great at Discord either? Thank you, Morten. I appreciate that. Can we get a little W for the lawyer in the chat? I feel like he's been getting roasted a lot as of late, but he's a great dude. You got roasted on the studio call as well. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, W for the lawyer. All right. So to kind of kick this off here, we're going to give a little bit of an overview, and then we'll get into some of the specifics. But to start, we just have to say the obvious. Jupiter's come a long way. Token's been out for 18 months. At the time, it was basically just a DEX aggregator built for smart traders who like money. Excellent copywriting. And a wee baby perps exchange. How old was perp when the token came out?
How old is what? Sorry.
How old was perps when the token first came out?
It's like the 3 months. I mean, we announced it together with the token announcement. Perps, yeah.
Yeah. So then, maybe 2 months or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Since then, a lot has happened, folks. Let me tell you, in the intervening 18 months, we went from kind of having two products. Now we have the strongest DeFi super app.
I think GLP is 2 years old right now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
nice.
the thing is, like, we actually launched before the announcement, like 3 or 4 months before the announcement. But like, we don't really tell people it was a beta website. Like at the point, I was telling all the GMX holder, like GLP holder, to come on GLP. They're all like, no one really trade on Solana and all these different things. Yeah.
But the book about Jupiter is going to be very interesting whenever it eventually gets written. I can promise you that. But in the intervening 18 months, going from a DEX aggregator and just a wee baby perps DEX to having the strongest DeFi super app with industry-leading products across multiple verticals, the team has more than tripled in size, maybe a little bit more than that, honestly, and now has, I think, more than 12. It's either 12 or 15 founders/CEOs, former founders and CEOs on board. So the team has gotten much better. The product suite has much gotten better, and broadly, we've really accelerated dramatically towards this goal of becoming the one-stop shop for new users, power users, and pro traders alike. However, it must also be said that despite all the product stuff that we've done, despite some of the bold actions that we've taken, like the 3 billion Jupe burn, the 50% Jupe accumulation plan, and so on, the token has not kept up. We hear you, we understand, and we've seen it. It has not really kept pace with the amount of work that's been done. And I think there's a bunch of different reasons for that. We don't need to go into all of them right now, but what is very clear is that for Jupe to succeed in the long run, we must be kind of collectively unified around this shared value creation and these important kind of facts about Jupiter, not getting lost in all the FUD that might be out there. What I wanted to say, as well as, from the team's perspective, I think we see our role really around growth on 3 different horizons, right? So in the short term, we want to continue to build the best on-chain products anywhere in DeFi. And you're going to find that in the product recap session that we're going to go through. we have been busy shipping. We shipped dozens of features and improvements across a wide range of products to make that happen. But in the midterm, as TradFi and DeFi continue to kind of merge, we want to make sure that we're building and launching projects and bringing the energy that's necessary to usher in this kind of global unified market that we've talked a lot about. This has been something that we've been talking about for more than a year, probably a year and a half at this point. We were very early to it. Now the rest of the world's catching up, which is great to see. And that means not only staying in close contact with the trenches, who is the base and the retail and the community, but also making overtures to new audiences, institutions, and so forth. And you're going to find more information about that in the strategic partnership section and in the coming up next section, where we're going to do for the first time some kind of discussion of what's going to happen in the future. And then finally, as we think about growth in the long term, we must continuously and relentlessly try to solve the biggest problems possible. That's where the real value is going to be coming from. In our minds, the single biggest problem across all of crypto right now is around fragmentation. Fragmentation of assets, fragmentation of users, fragmentation of liquidity. And that's where Jupnet comes in, and we're going to talk about that over here as well. Xiang, anything else you want to say to kind of tee this up before we go in?
I mean, I don't know, like we've been working on this, like really, like just want to share, can't wait to share like everything that we've been, I guess like, it's actually very like it's very interesting because I'm Asian myself. Like this is like a quarterly result, like a report that you get from this.
Let's chill out on whatever you're about to say next, and then
are we getting an A plus or are we getting an A or are we getting a B minus?
Oh, you'd be like more like in high school. Yeah. So exactly, it'll be up to all of you to let us know how this is. This is very much the first time we're doing it. We're going to need your feedback to make it better over time. So what I ask for you right now is that if you believe in the Jupiter kind of mission, if you believe on where we're going, please do give us that feedback. Stay in touch. Retweet the stream. I see Martin just did it. Get other people involved in here as well. The focus, as I mentioned, building the tools and rallying the energy, because it's not just about products, it's also about community. Needed to create that global unified market, ushering in Web 4. And then one just fun stat for everybody as we look through it: 70 million user sessions in Q2 alone over on Jupe.ag. Pretty incredible on that side. So this is just the beginning, but let's focus on what Jupiter really does best, which is the product suite. Xiang, do you know how many products Jupiter has now? Could you take a guess? I don't know if you actually know how many are in this company of yours.
Oh, I mean, I would say like 6 or 7. Really depends on how you slice it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite a few, is what I would say. I think we're going to talk about 8 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess. Although there are many more as well that we're not going to talk about.
7,
yeah, and the end more. But that doesn't include Studio, that doesn't include Lend, and a few other things. Folks, everything we're talking about on the product side in this section is going to be reverse looking, right? We're looking over at Q2. We're also going to talk about, we're looking at going ahead and some of the new products, including announcing of some products that people have been really eager, have been desperately asking us for. We're going to tell you a little bit about those right now, things that we're considering. But overall, at a high level in Q2, I think we made dramatic progress towards building out the DeFi super app across all of these different products. Xiang, do you want to start off by talking a little bit about the improvements over on Jupiter Spot that we have up here on the screen?
I mean, I would say like over the past month, I would say like the main 3 things are definitely we are shipping. Actually, that's one thing that I've been working on with some of the engineers. We've been working on the new algorithm, which is Metis 1.6. The cool thing about all these things is that like in the past, it's very hard to really tune anything on the algorithm because we are using that was before the Ultra introductions. So with Ultra right now, the cool thing about this is that we can run multiple different algorithms at the same time because Ultra will just pick the best price for you. Like before that, we only call one endpoint, they give you the best price. So it's really hard to experiment a lot of new algo. But with the new Ultra, obviously, the improvements that we've been making on the routing algorithm has gone up a lot. Actually, moving forward, actually for the last 2 or 3 months, I'm also working on the new contract as well. That will probably ship in the next week or 2. Yeah.
A lot of good stuff. And over the last, Juno aggregation itself was a giant step forward, going from just our algorithm to now having multiple. So we have 6 routers Metis v6 1.6 still seems to win a lot of the time, but it's ensuring that we're not just kind of favoring our own tech, but we're making sure that you always get the best execution. A few little numbers for folks to see it. I don't know. I think these are probably somewhere online, but just to make it easy for you, nearly $81 billion in spot volume just in Q2 alone. And interestingly, almost 38 billion of that was ultra volume. So we're starting to see that ultra going up and up. We announced that first at Cat Stemple. I don't think it went live until February or March. Is that right, Siang?
Like late February, like early March. Yeah. Actually,
So
no,
really...
it went live. No, Ultra went live the same day at Istanbul.
Oh, did it really? Okay, so January.
That was what I've been working on for the last fucking 3 days at Istanbul.
Yes, that was a very fun and stressful days. If you haven't watched the Cat Stemple recap vlog, please go do watch that. You'll see the stress in everyone's eyes. But this is still a young product, and it's been great to see how much spot volume it's been able to. People really like the real-time slippage estimation. They like the Jupyter Shield. They like the priority support, and they find it worth it. So definitely worth it. 8 million Q2 active wallets. Now, obviously, this is not 8 million active users because many users have multiple wallets, including myself and Siang. Why is the Jupyter Exchange thing cashy, bro? Please don't do that. But anyway, the Jupyter Spot numbers here over in Q2 were great. Now that we're kind of tracking this on a quarter-by-quarter basis, we'll also try to show quarter-by-quarter increases or decreases. We're going to call it balls and strikes here. The next one over here is on Jupyter Pro. Shout out to Joe Doe, Aaron, and the rest of the crew on this one. Jupyter Pro had a bunch of shipments that came out here, right? So AlphaScan came out. I use AlphaScan every day. It's the first thing that I look at when I'm trying to look at new tokens. 31 different launchpads, the most comprehensive coverage, the best filters, the easiest way to go. And by the way, it's free and it's easily available. On top of that, Jupyter Pro also shipped quick accounts, which I believe right now, honestly, criminally underused. I'm going to go out on a limb and say not enough people use this. You deposit it into the quick account, and then you can click that. You can buy things, sell things without having to do additional confirmations. It just makes life really easy. You can open it up on any computer that you happen to be on. And token pages with in-depth data came out. It's crazy to think we didn't have token pages before, but now the token pages on Jupyter Pro, excellent, high quality, not just in terms of their design, but also in terms of the data that they provide, including scores you're not going to see anywhere else. Things like organic score is a real innovation in how to think about tokens, because as we all know, a lot of these token volumes are not so organic. So this allows you to find organic things, CT smart likes to see where real communities are, which is pretty great. Jupyter Pro alone, we saw 4.4 million Q2 unique users on and 22.2 million 30-day page views. Now that's just for the last 30 days. There's actually so much data, it's hard for our systems to capture it all. But that's just on Jupyter Pro, on the token pages, on Alpha Screener, and so on. So clearly, this is a product that is drawing in lots of attention and increasingly getting more and more usage, which I think is pretty awesome. All right, let's go next to Jupyter Perps. You want to take this one, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to talk about?
This is the man shipped so much that he doesn't even know everything that he shipped.
Okay, like this is actually very interesting as well. Like people have been like, one of the feedback that we've been getting is like why are we not shipping more on Jupyter Perps? The problem is, I mean, we are shipping, like obviously like behind the scene. A lot of things became a lot slower because like obviously it's a 1.5 billion TVL pool. We have to be extra careful of modifying the contract. So all the things that we've been adding over the last 3 months, every new changes that we make on the contract went through 3 auditors. Actually we just added one more. So technically every single changes we make to the contract went through 4 auditors before we deploy.
Safety first.
Like obviously, like auditors are busy, so we have to keep like making sure that we have to ping them like ahead of time, like these are the things that we are changing. Then all 4 auditors will come in. Then they will verify it, like make sure that everything's safe. Then then only things can go out. But at the same time, like that doesn't mean that we are slowing down. Like a lot of things that we have done is actually on the API performance. The good thing about the API is that like we don't actually need to wait for the auditor to audit it. Like what we need to do is like making sure that we can build out like basically all these things that we set up at the beginning. To make sure that it's fast. So one thing that we've done over the last month or 2 months is that the server used to be in Singapore. Now we're trying to like distribute more servers around the world so that people are getting more information a lot faster. especially the chart, like even when they try to execute an order. So that will obviously make the trading faster. Another improvement that we just pushed out last week is that you can actually open double the size right now. Before that, SOL is only 2.5 million. Now you can open up to 5 million for BTC, and if it used to be 5 million, now it's 10 million, the maximum size. Then obviously the partial TPSL, and also like you can set up multiple TPSL as well.
That's
one of
take
the
profit and stop losses. Yeah.
one of the main focus is also like JLP USD loan as well.
Let's save that for a little bit. We'll talk about that in the coming up next section as well. But yeah, so perps, as Scarlett said very well, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Got to be careful with something of this size and scale. But definitely now 10 million position size. So it's good for, I know Molu is somewhere in the chat, basically Molu and Wake. That's just for you too. In Q2 on the perps volume side, $61.2 billion in volume. And this is the one I really like, $68 million in fees generated, 75% of which go back to JLP holders. JLP, this is absolutely not financial advice, but JLP, one of my favorite tokens for this very reason. It's a delicate balance to kind of balance the needs of traders and the needs of JLP holders. And I think Xiang and Julian and the rest of the team do a great job with it. Let's see. The next one here to talk about Jupiter Z. You want to talk about Jupiter Z or should I?
Yes, I mean, I can talk about it as well.
Yeah.
So obviously we added more market makers.
Sorry. Before you do, you want to explain what it is real quick?
Oh, yeah.
So Jupiter Z is an RFQ platform. So RFQ stands for request for quotation. This is kind of like just-in-time liquidity. So right when you want to make the trade, a little alert goes to a bunch of different market makers, and they decide, okay, do I want to fulfill this trade or not? The good news is when they decide to fill your trade, not only do you get that guaranteed price with no slippage, it's also gasless. So it's a really smooth trading experience for you, and oftentimes it leads to tighter bids and asks than you would get elsewhere. So it's a really powerful offering to ensure the best execution price. It is criminally underappreciated in the Jupiter product suite, I would argue, and you're going to see why in a second. But that's what Jupiter Z is. What changed in this last quarter?
Yeah, obviously we added more market makers. One of the things about obviously the problem with RFQ. I mean, the problem with RFQ is that it's also it's also a game for us to make sure that the market maker are performing so that it doesn't hurt the user in terms of two things, like price is there, then at the same time they're not like quoting the price but not fulfilling it. So one of the internal metric that we want all our market maker to do is they have to make sure that they fill 95% and above of all the quotation they quote, which is basically on par of all the failure rate across all the on-chain transaction as well. On-chain transaction, I think it's about like 94% success rate, but RFQ is about 95% success rate.
Very nice.
Yeah. So obviously, Obviously,
I was going to say to Cosmos's point here, it is like solvers. They're similar in the sense that
yes. So on Ethereum, we call it solver. On Solana, like we call it RFQ or whatever. Like I think it's essentially the same thing. But the good thing about this, like more market makers mean more off-chain volume coming on chain. So like all these people can like start making volume, basically start quoting on chain and give basically better price for all the users.
It's pretty.
One good thing about RFQ that's like people don't really know is that the RFQ price doesn't slip. Like unlike on-chain quotations, if we give you a quote, most of the time people might front run you or like take the quote out before you. The good thing about RFQ is like if we give you a quote, the quote will be fulfilled at exactly the same price, like 10 or 20 seconds later. Like you don't have to worry about like people front running you. You don't have to worry about like the price slip or anything like that. Yeah.
It's a real essential piece, I think, of the long-term future of on-chain routing as well, because you have all this on-chain liquidity in these AMMs and in these DEXs. But oftentimes, I mean, as we all know, there's more liquidity off-chain than there is on-chain. And these market makers are able to kind of help bridge that gap through Jupiter Z. And let me tell you, they have been doing it nearly $100 million a day in Jupiter Z, $8.1 billion in Q2 RFQ volume. Pretty incredible stuff with 17 total market makers on here. And wait till you see the revenue numbers on this, which we're going to share in a little bit. I don't know if we've ever shared those publicly. There was one other comment that I wanted to respond to real quick, which was we acquired, here it is, Jupiter bought CoinHall. Any updates? Shout out to the CoinHall team. Awesome guys. That's where Joe and Aaron came from. And most of the spot kind of products, and the pro products are run by the CoinHall team now, with their emphasis on data, obviously aggregation, understanding trading and execution. They've been incredibly helpful on that. Isn't that right, Joseph? Okay, cool. With that said, then we have Jupiter Portfolio. This one I'm going to talk about because it's very close to my heart. Shout out to the guy, the homie, Guam, aka Liam Neeson. The most used and comprehensive portfolio product on Solana. In Q2, a bunch of major improvements here, starting with the V2 redesign, which just looks stunningly beautiful. I gotta say, it's too pretty. People got to go check this out if you haven't already. We support now 140 protocols, 20 new ones added just in Q2 alone. Those guys are not sleeping. They're shipping. And they ship the activity browser, which I put a little tweet up the other day, I think is the single best way to look at your own wallet. All due respect to SolScan and so on, which is still necessary for individual transaction level exploration. For your wallet, if you want to understand what trades have you made or what trades has somebody else made, it's beautiful. It tells you the exact right protocol. It hides the spam, hides filters. It is awesome. More people should be using it. But a lot of people are using it. This is the first time we're going to reveal this. 500,000 MAUs in June on Jupiter Portfolio. Pretty incredible. The people, they like the DeFi. Jupiter Portfolio has been the game changer. They love it more than Swap, which is wild. Yeah, these are big numbers. Clearly a lot of intention and a lot of love for it. Yeah, Yeriter loves Jupiter Portfolio. Scarlett says best history ever. I know everybody else is super into it. Portfolio is a lifesaver, says Monique, and she's right. Then we have Jupiter Mobile. You or me, Siang?
You should go.
Okay. Yes. Jupiter Mobile, I think, is starting to really hit its stride. In Q2, we shipped the V2 upgrade, which was massive. There was a number of different components to it. Some of them included an improved universal send, which remains the single best way to get anyone else on chain. You can send people crypto just as a link. I use it literally constantly. Every time I'm talking to somebody who's new to crypto, I just send them a few dollars on Jupiter Mobile. Works seamlessly every single time. It's been used more than 85,000 times already, and we're going to be expanding that more, as you'll hear in a bit. Part of V2 is also adding trigger and recurring orders natively in Jupiter Mobile. So you can set up your DCAs, you can set up your limit orders right there from your phone. I don't believe this is something that anybody else has. This is an only Jupiter thing, I do believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. And finally, we launched Radar, which allows you to get notifications from more than 10 different apps across the Solana ecosystem. Folks, where we're going with Jupiter Mobile is hopefully fairly clear to you. We want it to be the entire world of Solana right there in your pocket. Do everything you can do on Jupiter, on your phone, and use it as the jumping off point to explore the rest of Solana. Big strides being made here. AG says it's a top one wallet. We're, again, we never shared this number before, but 825,000 lifetime downloads right now, with an average of 4.7 average rating in the App Store. And by the way, it's hard to keep this rating because what we have seen is that people download it, they trade, they lose money, and then they're like, fuck this app. This app costs me money. I hate this. So it is 4.7 is like a 17 stars for any other app because it really must be that user friendly.
There's a lot of people are making money from the Jupiter Mobile. That's why we're getting 4.7.
All right, that's Jupiter. What was that, sorry?
I make money 5-star.
Yeah, that's the easiest thing. All right, then we have the Jupiter Developer APIs. This one definitely you should take. So what happened with these in Q2?
Yes. So one thing that we introduced over the last, I would say like over the last 6 months or last 3 months, is that we actually introduced a pay API in the sense that, like, you know, before that, like, people have to run the binary. Then we realized that the demand on the binary is getting bigger and bigger. People need to make sure that the backend is like up and running, like making sure that the binary can like get all the data, ingest all the data. It usually requires like a bigger servers and everything. Then we realized that why don't we start allowing people to use our infra to basically for the API. Obviously we still have the free API, making sure that like if you're doing something that's like not crazy, like day to day, allowing people to swap on your website, you can just use the free API. You shouldn't have any problem. Then at the same time, we also have the pay API for all those people who want to do, like, you know, tracking the market, like trading with bots and stuff like that. So those are the pay API. Then at the same time, after the introduction of the Ultra mode on Castambo, we realized that we can also provide that as an API for all our users as well. So for Swap now, we have two sets of API, the basic Swap API and also the Ultra API. The cool thing about the Ultra API is that we basically extract the whole requirement of RPC away from the user. With the Ultra API, if you want to use it on your wallet, you actually don't even have to worry about signing up for Helios, signing up for Triton, or any one of those RPC. You can use the Ultra API directly in the app. The Ultra API also come with the token search API as well. Then obviously the price API and all those different things. So technically, if you want to build a brand new wallet right now, targeting like one language or one geographical region, you can just use Ultra. Like people can start trading on it. Yeah.
That is the alpha right there, folks. It's never been easier to build your own exchange using Jupyter Developer APIs. This has been a commitment of ours since the beginning. It's why Jupyter is the most integrated protocol in DeFi, because we have high quality APIs at regular, reasonable rates that allow you to experiment and then grow with the best tech around. Interestingly, the developer APIs, as we say, there is a free tier that many people are on, generated nearly $400,000 in Q2 revenue. Again, that's the first time that's ever been said in public, and more than $500 million in volume was done using the Ultra Mode API just in Q2 alone. And again, the Ultra Mode API came out relatively recently. It came a while after, so this is a very new number. We're excited to see this one grow over time. In addition, just before we wrap up and before we get into the state of the Jupe, two new members of the Jupiverse, as people will know: Moonshot, the premier, the flagship meme coin trading app in the world, the best UX of any app that I've ever used, quite honestly, and Drip, crypto's #1 collectibles platform. They stayed shipping as well. Moonshot launched Moonshot Create, their own ability to launch a coin on Solana, free and frictionless, and again, just incredibly smooth. Here's the one I'm really excited about. 0 KYC on-ramp for, I think, up to $500, if I'm not mistaken.
They just announced it yesterday. Is actually
that was yesterday? Oh, I think, well, okay, this wasn't technically Q2, but we're including it anyway.
I mean, they've been working on it for the whole Q2, but like I think they've been beta testing it, but like the news came out yesterday. Like Binance announced it publicly for everyone. Yeah.
So Coinbase, you mean? Yeah, Coinbase's headless API.
Sorry. Yeah.
Please don't slander Brian Armstrong like that. He's gonna come in you and headbutt you. And the team grew as well, so expect to see more. There's a major shipment that they're going to try to make in Q3 as well. That's all I can say on that side. And then over on the Drip side, they didn't stop shipping as well. They launched storefronts, which are incredibly cool ways for creators, many of whom I know are on this call right now, selling editions, one-on-ones, even physical objects. It's a full-on e-commerce store that you can use to work with your collectors. A better homepage with more features coming in, and better gamification. Nice badges for donors and other things. So we've seen user intention continue to go up and to the right on that. Folks, the reason that we just took the last 10 minutes to go through what is a very long list of product updates is simply because it is easy to get lost. Now, if you're a loyal viewer of Planetary Calls, you probably have heard all of this before. But when I tell it to you all in one package like that, when we just spend 10 minutes telling you what we shipped, show me another team that's shipping like this. Show me another team that's pushing forward on multiple product fronts the way that we are. This is what is going to lead to one half of the long-term edge for Jupe, right? First, it's products. Second, it's got to be community as well. And on the product side, Lord knows we've been shipping. There's just no way to look at this and not be bullish about the Jupyter products over here. Mamu says, I'm tired, boss, and he's not wrong. Give me a little W in the chat if you are also excited by how much we actually ended up shipping. It's honestly, Seong, when you see this, what is your feeling seeing all this stuff that's been shipped across the company?
I mean, it's actually pretty interesting because usually I just like jump into like special area that I can contribute there and jump from one area to one area. Like seeing all these things happening is actually quite cool. Like before that, I usually have a rough idea what's happening. Now from time to time, I also need to update myself on what's happening across everything as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to. It makes your head spin a little bit, All right. Well, with that said, let's go into the next section here, folks. We are going to have a few more sections to this. Yeah, we're going to have the state of Jupe and do a little transparency report on that. We're going to talk about what's coming up next, and we have Jupnet coming up as well. Before we get to that, let's do a quick business overview. Again, these numbers I think have been put out in public because they're mostly on chain, but I don't know if we've ever packaged them like this. So this is going to be the first time we're really doing this at a high level here. So Jupyter remains one of the most used protocols in DeFi. Some high-level numbers here: 142 billion in volume across spot and perps, more than 8 million wallets. TVL at 2.4 billion across JLP and Jupe Soul, which is pretty crazy. We're not right now, not a money market, and yet we're one of the largest by TVLs in the space. Jupe market cap is 1.37 billion, and that means the market cap to TVL ratio is 0.57. Now, that ratio matters more for pure borrow lend and money market plays, but we wanted to include it just like, oh, that's an interesting little side effect that even if you discount everything else, the TVL that we have is really something pretty intense. And it is one of the most multifaceted businesses in Solana. So here you can see the actual business breakdown from Q2. So in general, or in total, in Q2, $82.4 million in fees were created. Now, this doesn't include the fees that our partners got themselves by using our APIs and stuff like that. So this is a substantial undercounting. All the trading bots, the wallets, etc. We're not even counting their fees. These are just the fees that we know are being given out, right? $82 million created for the ecosystem in Q2, of which 38.33 came over to Jupiter. Obviously, half of that ends up going to the Litterbox Trust, which then has the mandate to go and get Jupe. As you can see from a business breakdown, we have about 54% of the revenues in the last quarter came from perps, 30% came from Ultra Mode. Now, again, 6 months ago, we didn't even have Ultra Mode. Didn't even have that. Now already it's generating, what is that? I'm so bad at math. I should not do this in public. $4-ish million a month in revenue and growing, which is very exciting. And what I really like here, RFQ. Now this number I don't think is correct. So apologies on the graphic. We need to get that one fixed over here. But RFQ is about $3.3 million in revenue generated by Jupiter Z, the RFQ platform with the market makers. Jupe Soul also brought in more than $250,000. Portal brought in more than $250,000 for the developer tools. Limit orders over $600,000, and then I believe that DCA brought in about $1 million as well this past quarter. So we'll get this graphic fixed up in the proper report that goes out tomorrow. But that is the state of the business. Seong, anything you wanted to say about the business of Jupiter here?
I mean, it's like even I'm quite surprised by the number. It's very hard to know what's happening when you're jump from really deep dive into one thing, then jump onto another thing. Now I can look at the number. It's actually I guess we are doing pretty okay.
It'll do. Somebody said TVL is only high because you have to stake to benefit. Not true. This TVL does not include Jupe staked at all. By the way, this is just product TVL between Jupe Soul and JLP. So that is
Jupe stake will be a lot higher if you count
Jupe stake. We have about 680-ish million Jupe stake, I think, something like that. So add another few $100 million on top of that. Yeah. By the way, I love working at a company where I can just be add a few $100 million on top of that. That's pretty cool. All right, that's the state of the business. Tabizi saying crazy that Perps is generating that much fees when we only have 3 tokens to trade. Stay tuned. We might have a little bit to say about that later on. As I told you, we're dropping alpha for this call, folks. This is not just rear looking. This is going to be forward looking as well. But before we get into that, let's talk about the state of Jupe itself. So one major thing that happened over this last quarter, we collaborated with Blockworks on a token transparency report. We had the second highest score, 39 out of 40. The reason we missed that last point, by the way, is not because of lack of disclosures, but because of the 2030 plan. It's hard for us to be explicit about what exactly, who's getting which vesting and so on and so forth. So there's some complications that allowed, that made that not be a perfect score, but it's very close, and you can go find all of that over there. I will say this, and then I'll throw it over to Seong as well. Jupe, I think, has a lot of mind share as a token. In discussions, both casual and less casual, with professional capital allocators, I can tell you a very significant percentage of them are either holders of Jupe, and literally all of them are watching Jupe and keeping an eye on it. And this is despite the fact, and this is important to recognize, that we do not play games with the Jupe token. This is the one thing you can really always trust and expect from Jupiter, that what you see is what you get. There are no weird OTC deals that are happening behind the scenes. We're not paying KOLs millions of dollars to pump the token. You don't see any of us talking about the token at all like this, because we want the market to know that the price you see is actually the price that the market values the token at. And I think because of this approach, we're playing the game the clean way. Because of that, we're seeing some numbers that are pretty impressive. So 950,000 on-chain Jupe holders. Now, there's probably even more of them on centralized exchanges, of course. About $8.5 million in on-chain liquidity, which makes it one of the deeper tokens to trade, which means you can enter and exit with size. This is very important for tokens of substantial size and for professional capital allocators who cannot, by their own rules, enter tokens that don't have deep liquidity. because it might make it hard for them to exit their positions. Doing $74 million a day in daily trading volume, the Jupe token itself, that is. That's obviously not Jupiter, that's the Jupe token. So what we're seeing is that people want to be trading it. It's a top 3 Solana alt for sure. And interestingly, 23% of all Jupe that's in circulating supply is currently staked in the DAO, which is a pretty cool fact and shows a lot of long-term alignment when a full 1/4 of all the circulating Jupe is staked. In fact, I think that's pretty great. Anything you wanted to say about Jupe Mindshare here, Xiong?
No. I think it's again right, like great numbers that like I don't even know what they're now.
All right. So with that said, again, we want to be transparent. Now, many other projects take the opposite approach of what I'm about to do. Rather than tell you the emission schedule, they'll try to obfuscate it as much as possible and then hope that you never notice. The truth is, emissions are a part of the game. Unless you launch with 100% circulating, you're going to have to do emissions over time. And that is a good thing because it ensures that everyone, all the key stakeholders, are continuously involved and engaged with the project. And you have this kind of longer term alignment. Over in Q3, we anticipate about, 150-ish million in Jupe to be emitted, so to speak, to go enter the circulating supply. That's going to increase the overall circulating supply by about 2.29%. Now, there's an important caveat here, though. I don't know if it's literally most, but it's a substantial portion of the Jupe for Jupiter team members is actually Xiong and Meow's Jupe, and neither of them are getting any of it. So it's actually not going anywhere, right? So Meow is not going to take a single Jupe token until 2030 because he believes long-term future. Xiong not taking any until January 2026, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Xiong?
Yep.
So these numbers are a little bit misleading, but we want to give the maximal transparency, even though this is not all Jupe that's going to be hitting the market. In fact, a large percentage of it is not going to be hitting the market. We want to make sure that there's no one who can point at us in any certain way and say that we're trying to obfuscate. Listen, I believe that this space, as it continues to professionalize, is going to start to have a transparency premium for the teams and the tokens that do things the right way, that are not trying to hide in the shadows, but rather build things in public for everyone to be able to see. And hopefully this does exactly that. You want to talk about the treasury holdings? You want me to?
I mean, you should go ahead. Yeah.
The treasury holdings here as of 30th. So there are some unsolicited inflows. People keep sending random dogshit tokens to the treasuries. The community hot wallet has about 270.
Octopets are great.
No shit tokens. The community hot wallet has 470 million Jupe in it. Now this is technically circulating, but it is not actually on the market or whatever else that you might want to see. The team hot wallet has about 126 million Jupe that's going to be used for the vesting contracts and so forth. And then across the community cold wallet and the team cold wallet, that is about 3.7 billion tokens that have not yet been emitted. I will say the community hot wallet, it doesn't act as if some random person's wallet. It's not like they could just sell at all, especially with the DAO being paused for DAO voting right now. So there's one way to think about that is actually kind of locked, right? Which increases the amount of kind of locked circulating supply, so to speak. That is that. And then, of course, we can't go any further without mentioning the Litterbox Trust over here. So as a reminder, 50% of Jupiter's on-chain revenues go into the Litterbox Trust, which is operated by a third party, which then has the mandate to accumulate Jupe tokens. And in Q2, that rose to 62 million Jupe in there. Not bad. Not bad. I don't know what the exact dollar value of that is right now, but I can tell you it is, well, actually, I don't know if I can say from a legal perspective, but it is filling up like crazy, not expecting this much indeed. So this is becoming quickly one of the largest holders of Jupe. And as a reminder, this is fully locked for 2 years. So this is not going anywhere. And after that time, it'll be available for potential growth campaigns or some other things, depending on what the community is really thinking. So the Litterbox continues to grow every day. And then we got a little bonus update here. So we talked about Jupe, the token. Let's talk a little bit about JLP. You want to take JLP? I know JLP is your baby. Do you want to say a few words about it?
Yes. I think for a lot of people, they probably know JLP is probably one of the most integrated tokens across all ecosystem as well. Camino, Drift, and many others are using it as a way to boost their liquidity as well. Yeah, and I don't think the daily trading volume is correct though. Here,
you think it's
but that's probably correct here. I mean the average daily trading volume.
You think it's too low or too high?
Oh, I see. This is the JLP trading volume. Oh, never mind. I thought it's the perps trading volume. Never mind. This is correct.
No. The perps trading volume is like 500 to 100 billion a day. Yeah. This is just for the JLP token itself.
Yep. This is correct. Yeah.
And currently generating 14.5%. The most popular trade, can I leak some more alpha on this? The single most popular trade from professional traders that I talk to right now on Solana is to get JLP and then hedge the underlying. So hedging against Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and then just capturing the APY. This is the most popular trade right now. It is really a cornerstone of all of Solana DeFi. And we have to give a quick update on Jupsol as well. Jupiter has 3 tokens that are above $350 million market cap. I'm not sure how many other teams can say that. We know tokens, right? At the end of Q2, the market cap was 775 million, 28,000 stakeholders of it, and it's accrued nearly 95,000 SOL, all of which goes back to you. That's why Jupsol has one of the best APYs in the entire LSD landscape. Usually it is literally number 1, sometimes it's number 2. Big shout out to our guy, Italo, who's helping to manage this, and to Soju, who started this off. And worth noting, it's not just the best APYs, it's also the most community-centric. It is the first validator in the super minority to be running Frankendancer and helping battle test this for the future of Jupiter. Anything else to say about this?
I mean, Jupsol is
Talk for a little bit so I can have one bite of my dinner, because
I'm thinking about like what are the things that we can do to make Jupsol more interesting. Obviously, there are some of the things that we can trigger as well. But hopefully, like down the road, we can have more things to announce. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not sure how much I can share, since they are not like 100% yet. But there are efforts being made to make sure that we can, make sure that Jupsol is more in some sense.
That's good. You caught yourself there. There are efforts being made to expand the holder base and the TVL of Jupsol.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an active thing that we are working on. And as a reminder, the small percentage fee that Sanctum charges on LSTs, that doesn't come to the Jupiter team. That goes directly to the DAO, 100%. And that's a nice, hopefully, maybe $1 million a year revenue line for the DAO, which is pretty incredible. All right. If you're feeling bullish, give me a little W in the chat, because we are, I don't know, you're seeing the strength of the business, you're seeing the strength of the token, the mindshare, what everyone has got, the products. It's just a lot of stuff. I'm going to fly through the strategic partnership section because I do want to try to get out of here relatively on time. The key insight of this section, before we go to the next one here, Jupiter actually somewhat uniquely. So yes, we have the best products. Yes, we have the best community. Underappreciated how effectively we're able to use the products, the community, and the brand to get partnerships that allow us to scale without having to do the actual work. This is really where the alpha is on Jupiter as a project. This is the thing that I don't think most people understand, because we don't talk about it enough. When people come to Solana, they come to Jupiter first. And we saw this in dimension after dimension. Just in Q2, here are the partnerships that we had. First, worked with a ton of different asset issuers, from the Central Stock Exchange of Kazakhstan, to X Stocks and being in their alliance as they tokenize equities, to Ondo as they have an upcoming tokenized equity play that we're going to be at the center of. These are major narratives and major players, and they come to Jupiter first. Why? Because they trust us and they know that we provide the best products with the best community. Not just that, we also had a number of other token communities or asset issuers like Huma Finance. Shout out to give me a little G Huma or W Huma in the chat. $75 million FDV discounted presale exclusively for Jupiter stakers. Current FDV is something like 300 million. Pretty incredible stuff. Why do they do that? Because they know that we have the best community around. Same with Rect, the premier brand coin. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about how the drain points are going to convert, but let me tell you that at least based on current prices, that's going to turn out to be a real win. And that's not even including how delicious those drinks are. All of these people, they come to Jupiter first because they know that we have what it takes, but they're not alone. The centralized exchanges do as well. Xiang, you want to talk about, these are mostly the relationships that you handle, if I'm not mistaken. What are the centralized exchanges coming to us for?
Yes. So obviously, one of the cool thing about the Jupiter API is that we allow people who want to come onto Solana relatively, make their life relatively easy. So Binance has been using a Jupiter API for Binance Alpha. I'm pretty sure if you're using the Binance app, you can trade with Binance Alpha, and behind the scenes, every trade that you make on Solana is using Jupiter API. Same thing for Gate as well. They recently launched their own I think meme token platform that a lot of people buy and sell memes. That also powered by on Solana. There's also powered by the Jupiter API as well. Are we doing anything with Kraken? Yes. Are we? I don't remember. Yeah. And
There's so many, it's hard to keep up, quite honestly.
Obviously, like I think the recent one will be Bybit with their new introduction of Byria that's coming as well. Yeah.
That's alpha being dropped right there as
I
well.
think
And
they've been using it on the exchange side. Yeah, using our API for people to trade and buy and sell. Yeah.
which is pretty good. They're using the Ultra Mode API. Is that right?
I don't know what they're going to use. Hopefully they use the Ultra API. Yeah.
We'll see. But folks, here's
I think one thing that I would love to highlight is like Pintu is also like one of the biggest exchange in Indonesia as well. They're also using Jupiter API for their Indonesian user. If you're running an exchange like for local markets, and you want to allow people to start trading for your local markets, feel free to come to us. We would love to power you as well.
That's a fact. That is a fact. So folks, here's the important insight that again is easy to miss if you're just on crypto Twitter. There are many, many users, as we said, 70 million user sessions in Q2 of people coming to Juke.ag. But the way that we make sure that Juke stays at the center of everything, that we keep the volumes, we keep the mind share, we keep the users, we keep getting better on the algorithmic side, is by ensuring that you don't have to just come to Juke.ag to use it. That's why we take so much time to focus on these. They have tons of users at centralized exchanges that are now starting to come directly on chain. And when they do, they're using Jupiter as well. That is what we call bullish. On-chain startups have long used Jupiter. This is, again, going back to what I've said it before, the most integrated protocol in DeFi. The strategy here is a little bit like, it's a little bit almost like AWS, right? If people know Amazon Web Services, right? They offer relatively cheap cloud services for startups. And then as the startups like Netflix or whoever else start to scale, their usage continues to scale with them as well. That is the explicit strategy here, right? So there are a ton of on-chain startups. These are just a few in the last quarter that integrated Jupiter. So if you've ever heard of Farcaster or MetaMask, shout out to the Send AI boys, 1inch, Boop, Bungie, MetEngine, I think did like $300+ million involved. Like these guys are all companies that are using Jupiter routing that again keeps Jupiter at the center of it. Again, it's easy to forget to just look at the Juke.ag numbers and forget there's a lot of stuff coming through over here as well. And then finally, we have the liquidity venues as well. This is how we ensure the best execution for everybody. So we actually integrated some more PancakeSwap, BuyReal, the Bybit product that we're talking about. Is this Goonfi? Humidify and Tesseract as well, all coming in. But the goal is just to give you the best prices. Siong, you're the one who does a lot of these integrations still. Is that right?
Yes, I'm the one who does most of this integration, and also with Brian as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Brian and shout out to everyone. Yes, Jupiter. It's not Jupiter Web Services. It's Jupiter Web 4 Services, and that's how we're.
The final gatekeeper is obviously PA.
To Pierre, I know he's definitely not watching.
Code, and all the integrations are, like great before it goes into the router. Yes.
Pretty great. All right, we got 2 sections left here. Do you want to do Jupnet first, and then we'll do everything else that's coming up in Q?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, folks, here now we have an update on Jupnet. We have not had an update on Jupnet in a few months, and Siong is going to take it through. There is alpha in this section. I'm telling you right now. All right, what is Jupnet, Siong?
So, when a lot of people, when they talk about Jupnet, they think about like it in a way that we are trying to build a L1, but the whole point here is not to rebuild a new L1 or anything like that. But the whole point here is to use basically have a chain that we can start that allow us to start aggregating liquidity across different chains. So Jupiter today, you can easily go to Juke.ag and buy any token across Solana. The whole point of Jupnet is that if you come on Jupnet, you should be able to buy any tokens across all chains. The way we believe what is going to happen in the future is that there are going to be a lot more chains, Arbitrum. I think Robinhood just announced their new Robin chain or whatever. All these different chains will have their own liquidity, will have their own tokens. But today landscape is that it's very hard to do any of this. Bridging is great, but the problem with bridging is that you usually require 2 wallets. Let's say you want to bridge from Ethereum to Solana, you will need to set up the Ethereum wallet at the same time you need to set up a Solana wallet. the cool thing about Jupnet is that you only need to set up one wallet, which is the Jupnet wallet. Then you can buy any tokens across all chain. That's the whole point of Jupnet. You want to go next? Yes. Yes. Actually, I just came back from the Jupnet offsite over, I think, 2 weeks ago in Berlin. So we had a 1 week offsite in Berlin. Basically, we flew, I think, about like 20 people across, US, Europe, Asia into Berlin to basically have this offsite to talk about, basically to sync on all the things that different teams, like team members are working on at the same time to sync on the timeline for Jupnet as well. So over the past 6 months, ADI is finally there. Like people can start on the internal testnet, basically all the testnet that team members can use. You can start login onto Jupnet by using just Google, Twitter, or any like OpenID, like a network out there. The whole idea of ADI is to basically abstract this whole idea of requiring like 24 seed words like that you have to download and remember in order to log into Jupnet. But now with ADI, you don't have to do any of this. Like with Google, with Twitter, you can log in, and you can even add like a fallback support as well. Let's say if you lose access to your Google, you can actually add another fallback, like let's say like Twitter or like any like OpenID login system out there, so that in the case that if you lose your main access, there's still a fallback access for you as well. I think this will be very powerful because with this, it will be accessible for people to immediately sign up on Jupnet.
Pretty important here, I think, folks. Like, I think
the thing that's actually quite interesting is that I think this is our third iteration on ADI. Like it went through like multiple stuff, like in order to get there. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty intense. This is really important, I think, folks, because right now one of the main problems with coming on chain is the friction for new users, in particular new users, right? It is just easier to go to Binance and log in with Google than it is to download your seed phrase and do this, do that, do the other thing. And what we want to bring is that kind of simple experience, all the benefits and the ease of Web 2, but all the benefits of decentralization and self-sovereignty that come with Web 3, right? Because we do believe that that is important. So there's that. Then we have the doves. What's been going on the dove? So the ADI's core functions are complete. This is a major milestone in a decentralized identity formulation. How about the doves?
So obviously, like I mentioned earlier, in order for us to acquire different assets or tokens on different chains, we need to build a custom contract on each chain as well. And the way to validate all these transactions, we also need to build out like different like indexer for different chain as well. Basically, the whole idea of Dove is to have like this set of validator, this set of behind the scene indexer to make sure that we can monitor the transaction that gets sent into Jupnet with the like Dove validators. The tricky thing about this is that like we have to write contract for like all the chains that we support, like Sui. We have to write a custom contract on Sui. We have to write a custom contract on ETH. We have to write a custom contract. Solana is easy because we've been working on Solana, and yeah. So these are the things that we need to make sure. Obviously, we also need auditors who come in who are also work with partners who are better than us. Like let's say on Sui, let's say on like ETH, to help us out as well. Yeah.
Sense. Then we have the omni-chain ledger.
Yeah, that is basically like the Jupnet.
This is Jupnet itself. And now I think we can say this for the first ever time. So the on-chain ledger is what allows us to kind of keep a central source of truth, or a decentralized source of truth, I should say, across all the different chains that exist. And now for the first time ever, let's talk about some of the chains that are going to be supported. Sorry, one last thing. Infrastructure review has started.
Yes. So the goal is to launch sometime around Q4. So we already get all the auditors come in to like look at all the infra that we set up. Like they basically tell us like what need to obviously what need to be fixed, what need to be safer, what are things that we oversee. Like most importantly, like Jupnet has to be safe before we can start onboarding more users.
That's right. But, safety first, obviously, this is a number of breakthrough technical integrations. So we're not going to be rushing this one out. There's one more thing before I tell you the chains. And here's the alpha as well, actually. The return of the club, the central limit order book for spot and perps. This is interesting coming from you, Xiang, because, of course, JLP and Jupiter perps are all based on the AMM model. We don't really use the central limit order book too much. What can you tell us about the club on Jupnet?
I think one thing that we realize, like when you're building like a new L1, right? You realize that there are a lot of things that you can do and a lot of things that you can improve. Like the gold standard of any like L1 is whether you can build a CLOB, like a central limit order book, on top of it. We basically set up a new order book team to work with the Jupnet team to basically push the Jupnet team to make sure that we can actually get to the performance of running a CLOB, like a central limit order book, on top of Jupnet. The cool thing about it is when you can run a central order book on Jupnet, like you can do a lot of different interesting things as well. Like obviously the spot order book is one thing that's very obvious. Let people buy and sell like any assets. Since any asset can go into Jupnet, so like now we can set up different order books for people to buy and sell different assets as well. Then obviously with an order book you can also build like a perps product on top of it as well. Yeah.
Interesting. Jupnet perps. How interesting. How interesting. All right, here's the alpha for everyone. I mean, this is alpha in and of itself, quite honestly. If you know, you know. But here's the clearest alpha. We got 4 chains that we're expecting, that we're quite sure that we'll be able to support on launch. Now, obviously, anything could change, but right now it seems as if, obviously, Solana, the best chain in my humble opinion, but also we're going to be supporting Solana, Base, Sui, and Arbitrum on day 1 on Jupnet. So you'll be able to trade any asset from any of those chains in one single location called Jupnet. And we are in the current exploration phase. I saw some people asking about this in the chat. How do we get Bitcoin and Hyperliquid on there as well, connected into Jupnet? On a long enough time frame, the goal is to be able to connect to every chain. So really, this is just a question of prioritization. But if you want to trade tokens across these, possibly trade some perps across these, there is the alpha for you. Anything you want to say about the initial chains, Xiang?
For what chain? Sorry.
Do you want to say anything about the initial chains?
The initial chain? Like, what do you mean?
How did we choose these chains?
Oh, I see. Obviously, the easiest thing is we want fast chain. It's a lot easier for us to integrate. For people to swap, it's a lot easier as well because you don't have to wait. Like Bitcoin has a little bit problem because I think it's 15 or 30 minutes confirmations. Actually 15 minutes or 30 minutes. Then Ethereum is 12, 11 minutes, something like that. So those chains are harder to integrate because confirmation takes a lot longer. So if you want to acquire assets for people to trade on Jupnet, it would take longer time. Solana is easy, Base is easy because Base is fast, Sui is fast, Arbitrum is fast. And we also believe that most activities are happening on these chains right now. Yeah.
That's right. And when is it coming? Building for the public testnet in early Q4, like very early Q4. That is Jupnet. I know people have been asking when. Public testnet, early Q4. Private testnet's going to be in Q3 for us to be all playing around with. Public testnet in Q4. We want to make sure that we do this the right way. That's why we need to do the testnet, get some traffic on it, make sure that people can use it and break it and whatever else, so that when we go live to mainnet, people understand that it's safe to use and that we've kind of worked out some of the kinks. Yodapun says this is too much alpha. I promise you. I told you this is going to be alpha. Marino says, what a goated stream. W's in the chat for Marino, who's going to be, F's in the chat for Marino, who's going to be typing up a frenzy right now. I feel bad for his fingers. But yes, Jupnet, public testnet, early Q4 coming up. And speaking of the future, let's keep moving on and talk about looking ahead. So now here's where the alpha continues right now. Basically, what we wanted to do was think a little bit about, or explain a little bit to all the token holders, all the community members, everyone out there, what exactly we're kind of thinking about. What are the kind of strategic priorities for the team? So often, again, this is common in crypto. you just don't hear anything from teams in between. You see a few vibe posts, and then you hear a new product launch, and you don't really get a chance to understand how they're thinking about the world. If the way that we think about it from our strategic priorities makes sense to you, these seem like good priorities, welcome. Join us, become part of the community, do your thing. That's why we're doing this here, and to give people a little bit of a sense of what's coming up next, because we want people to be excited. So first thing, and I'm immediately nervous about sharing these. I'll take this one, then you take the next one. Siang, is that all right?
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
So we got some new products coming in Q3 that I'm giga bullish, or very excited about, I should say. And these products are not only going to create more revenue for Jupiter, which is obviously great because we want that revenue to be able to reinvest, but also it's going to make Jupiter as a full product suite even stickier, right? The super app vision is that every additional product actually adds more value than the previous, because you get this self-reinforcing flywheel where people might come for one thing and then they might see like, oh, I came for spot, but now I can get yield and I can earn on my latent staples, or oh, I can create a token with Jupiter Studio, or oh, I can do this, I can do that. These are all really critical to the kind of understanding of where Jupiter is going. Jeff Bezos has this great quote, which says, "Insight in mind." Right? The idea is you want to have things in the same place so that people can see them and be like, oh, well, I'm checking my portfolio here. Maybe I should start using Jupiter Lend. Here's the alpha on Jupiter Lend. Private beta going live in late July, possibly early August. It depends on what the audits have to say. And the public launch has been now moved to mid-August. But the cool thing, folks, we've already secured more than $1 million in incentives from third parties to ensure that some of our rates are delightful. And there's going to be some other rates, possibly some carrots at play here as well. We are going to make sure that there are enough incentives that initial liquidity can come. And from there, the tech does the rest. Remember, Jupiter Lend with its unique 2-layer architecture is going to have the best loan-to-value ratios, which is what attracts capital. People can use their collateral more, and the single best liquidation engine, all powered by our friends at Fluid. Major shout out to DHM and Semiac and everybody else over there for putting this together. This is an awesome partnership. I am really excited about this one. More than $1 million in incentives. It's coming up. The next one. You guys have been asking for it from day one. I cannot tell you how many DMs I have about this. Jupiter Mobile, the best mobile wallet, the Jupiter Desktop Chrome extension wallet is on the way. Now, let me tell you right now, and yeah, you can immediately see the W's in the chat. This is going to be really important to allow people to move fully over to the Jupiter wallet ecosystem. We've gotten a lot of feedback that people are still using some of our competitors, who I won't say the names of, because like, hey, you don't have something for desktop and I need it on my laptop in order to be able to use it. Well, we're going to fix it. Now, I do want to set expectations a little bit here. It's going to give you the best routing, the best pricing, the best fees, as you all know and love from Jupiter. It is probably going to start feature bare, right? Building a desktop wallet is like, don't expect this to be like a tier 1 wallet on day one. Work started on this very recently. We're hoping to ship early versions in Q3, and then with your feedback, continue to iterate and go forward from there. Why does this help generate more revenues for Jupiter? Well, people are not using the other wallet providers. Why does this help create more stickiness for Jupiter? Well, now you can just use Jupiter everywhere you go. And if you're using things in the future, you can imagine quick accounts being added in or other such things that allow you to really take advantage of the full product suite. We're talking portfolio, lend right there within the wallet, create a token directly from the wallet. All of these kinds of things start to come on the table. Again, when we start, it's going to be like slow. So keep your expectations modest for the quality of the product to start with, but we are going to be going as well. And feedback, as Voice of Greatness says, will make it the best wallet ever. So this one is pretty exciting, and I can see that. Sian, what do you think of the chat? They're going. I told you they really wanted this. People have been asking for this for so long. Finally, we actually at the last moment decided not to say exactly what this product is. We are going to launch something else in Q3, and all I can tell you is that Jupiter is going to be entering one of the hottest sectors, not just in crypto, but in finance as a whole. That's all I can say.
Hopefully Q3, late Q3, maybe early Q4.
Oh, wait. We're talking about two different things, by the way.
Oh, really? Oh, never mind.
Yeah. I'm talking about the other thing.
I see.
So, yeah. So, Siong's right. There's actually another redacted product that's a little bit more speculative because we haven't gotten there yet. That's late Q3, early Q4.
I see.
This is the one that we're pretty sure is coming in Q3. And again, I can't say exactly what it is. We have partners. They have, I can't even say what they have without giving some of it away. So I'm not going to say anything else, but just say that expect another product launch from us as well on chain. The one that, again, is going to drive revenue, drive mind share, and make Jupiter even stickier. This is what's coming up, folks. Then, Xiang, I'll leave this one to you. Growing perps and JLP. Obviously, Jupiter Perps still the #1 perp stack on Solana, but Hyperliquid has been a very fierce competitor, obviously taking up a lot of volumes. There's other perp dexes on Solana as well. What do you have in mind for? Whoops, the hell? This happened. What do you have in mind for perps over here? You want to say the big one? This is one people have been asking for.
Yes. I think people saw my tweet the other day. Basically, I've been asking like whether like people will be interested in trading a SUI or XRP on perps. The way we do it is like we basically go down the list of like the most popular like volumes based on perps on Binance. Then we basically added we will start slowly adding all these like options into the perps product as well. If you really go down the list on Binance, like XRP and SUI are quite up there, and one of the like basically one of the two tokens that people would love to trade as well on GLP. I've been talking to the Ripple team. I've been talking to the SUI team. Try to get them on board as well. Hopefully, we can have something more concrete to announce over the next like month or so. Yeah.
Yes, and I mean, I think that this is very cool as a new assets have been asked for forever. There are probably some other assets as well that you can imagine. I blink all the time, Krish. You can also imagine some other things that can happen, but new assets are coming. This has been the #1 request for perps for a long time. Hopefully that brings in even more volumes, even more revenues. It makes it even more competitive. Then we have JLP loans.
Yes. JLP loans are...
Tell them.
Actually, like it's active right now, but we only allow 1% of the liquidity being used for loans. I think we are going to launch it today in Edge, but we're going to slowly increase the 1%, maybe to like I think will be up to 60% or maybe 50% of the USDC to be used for loan as well. Basically, the whole idea here is that you can use JLP as collateral to take out some loan to do whatever you want.
Pretty incredible. JLP, by the way, $1.5 billion asset. I believe Camino has more TVL, but not a lot of others do. And so JLP just became, this is unrelated to Jupiter Lend, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. JLP by itself just became one of the largest money markets on Solana. This is going to help increase JLP APYs as well, because it's going to get shared back in that same 75% of those fees right back to the pool as well. So that should make that asset even more attractive to hold because it has native yield, and then you can use it as collateral, and it'll make those APYs even better. This one is pretty sick. And then we're exploring something. Now, this is very exploratory phase. So like this one, new assets, JLP loans, those are coming. What can you say about tokenized equity perps?
Yes. So one cool thing about like X stocks coming on chain is that now people can start trading Tesla, all these other stock tokens on chain. The cool thing about having stock tokens on chain is that we can start exploring a new, maybe not GLP or like something XLP or whatever we call it, stock LP or something like a new, basically a new type of token that's not GLP, but it's fully collateralized by stock tokens. That also means that we can start allowing people to do like 100, 200, or maybe 250x on Tesla, on like MicroStrategy, any of the stock tokens that are on McDonald's if you want to do it. Yeah.
This is something that you cannot get in TradFi, folks. This is one of the cool, when we talk about tokenized equities coming on chain, it's not just about accessibility. It's also about composability, using them as collateral, using them for perps, like all of these types of new use cases that are impossible in TradFi are going to be possible on chain. And let me tell you, Jupiter is going to lead the way on every one of them. And then lastly, this has been, I think, another thing people have missed a little bit. What's happening on the gamification front, my friend?
Yeah, so we're going to start again, right? Like, like changing the contract is always like very tough, but we're going to start doing stuff around the contract. So gamifications are the things that we can easily do. We may start doing like trading contests as well to allow people to do, like weekly trading contests so that people can start trading on it, like different, like you also leaderboard to see where you are at comparing to others traders on Jupiter Perps.
And you can imagine trading contests and other things like that as well. I don't know, maybe some carrots in there. We'll find out. But growing perps and JLP, definitely something that we're thinking about going forward here. I'll take this one here. We're also really, we talk a lot about the importance of growing the pie. And I think if you look at a lot of projects, what they're trying to do is kind of divide the pie and just maybe steal market share from others. What we really want to do is not, I mean, obviously we want all the market share we can get, but we want to help the entire space by bringing more people on. Like, don't forget, crypto is fucking tiny still, right? We had 8 million wallets interact with Jupiter in the last quarter. Those are still tiny numbers. We're going all the way to 800 million, hopefully someday, right? Inshallah. And so in order to do that, somebody's got to do the hard work of bringing people on chain. And that is something that I think Jupiter can uniquely do because of the product suite and because of the community that we have. So what we're going to be doing here, Jupiter Mobile is going to have a V3 launch coming next quarter. So be excited about that. And we are going to use a portion of carrots to get more people using Jupiter Mobile. So we're going to invest very heavily in Jupiter Mobile growth. Jupiter Mobile uses Ultra Mode. It's also the gateway to the rest of the Jupiter products. So this is what's good for the goose is good for the gander kind of situation, right? This is the tip of the spear and the way that we get more folks. That's a big one. Universal Send. Do you want to talk about Universal Send, Siong? I know you're quite passionate about it.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've been thinking about is adding more utilities to Universal Send. One example is like if you want to do airdrop, you should be able to do it with Universal Send as well. Things like that. Yeah, but yes.
So Universal Send.
More work need to be done there. Yes.
Yeah. And then finally, we really want to focus on increasing the synergy across the Jupiterverse, right? We have all these great properties. We have all these great partners. Moonshot and Drip are the most easy ones. Going forward, this is really the time to be bringing them in closer and making sure that everyone is that we're able to share users, able to share mindshare, able to share, just everything and make the products themselves better. But more importantly, bring more people on, because Moonshot and Drip in particular have giant audiences of people who are mostly kind of crypto curious. Jupiter is a largely on-chain audience, not the crypto curious audience. And so this is a big thing that we're thinking about. If you think that onboarding more users to crypto is an important thing to do, Jupiter is home. That's the fact. That's the place you need to be. That's why we're sharing this. Of course, we want to build the best trading tech. This is never going to not be a priority for us here. You want to take these ones? Actually, let's do Jupiter 7 aggregator. And then I want to do Jupiter Z because I love it so much.
Yeah, so V7 aggregator hopefully is coming out into beta next week. We will start testing it on Ultra. So people on Ultra can start using it. I think one partner is also onboarded as well. Hopefully they can launch it as part of the beta. It's now going through audits. Hopefully once the audit is done, it can go live.
Pretty great.
And the funny thing is, like, at the same time, we're also working on V8 as well. The reason because like we actually want to push all the V8 features into V7, but like it will take more time and a lot more testing, because V8 is is one improvement that's actually very good for the developers, but not too obvious for the users. That's why I decided to push all the users things out first, which is on the V7. Then for the developer friendly stuff, it will come in V8. Yeah,
that's a pretty big one. Here's another big one: Jupiter Z partial routes. Now I say that it might sound like a small thing. It is very much not a small thing. Please.
Yeah. So one of the problems with Jupiter RFQ right now, Jupiter Z, is that we can only do direct routing, USDC, or like any direct routing. The problem with direct routing is that obviously not all volume in direct routing. With partial routes means we can start allowing part of the route to be used as Jupiter from market maker as well. That I think we can probably increase the volume by maybe like 2x or 3x to the IFQ, for market makers. Yes.
So for the record, for those of you keeping along at home, if partial routes does just do the 2x that Siong is doing, this is not financial advice, but if it does, that's an extra $12 million a year in revenue.
I think fees is one thing. I think the most important part is also like one of the problem is like we can also make sure that when the partial route happens, IFQ doesn't have slippage. So the cool thing about it is like if you're not going through like normal on-chain routing, you don't get slippage on IFQ. So user will get better price as well.
better execution is the end game. That's how we stay on top here, is through better execution. So I think this is going to be like really something excellent. And it's going to drive even more people to use Jupyter if they've been ever thinking it. And then finally, enhancing Jupyter Pro and Alpha Scan.
Yeah, yes. The Pro product's going through a lot of refinements right now. The team are actually, cooking, and hopefully we can share more. I think in a month or so. Yeah.
It's a priority for the company. That's what we're trying to say with all of these things. It's not like, hey, this is exactly when it's going to launch or not, but these are the things that we think are important. We still think that pro traders are very important, and we still think that our offering at a fraction of the cost of the competition, built directly into Jupyter with a brand that you trust and better data, better metrics, better everything, is something really exciting. And so the team is still hard at work on that one. And then finally, we have Web4 and social monies. This is obviously very close to Meow's heart. It's talked about it a lot. This is another thing that we're really thinking about in this quarter and beyond. This idea, for anyone who's missed it, is basically that Web4 is the evolution of Web3. While Web3 has been largely a technical innovation that hasn't had the accompanying social kind of evolution that's necessary, and that's where we enter a new phase of the web. Little known fact, Web3 as a term was coined, I believe, about 12 years ago, right? It feels newer because it really became into vogue maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's been about 14 years, or 12 to 14 years. So what does that mean? Well, it means more iterative cycles on Jupyter Studio. Drop a little W in the chat if you've been using Jupyter Studio. I know a bunch of people are having a lot of fun times with it. It is it's got 50% creator fee sharing. I believe that's the most around, or it's still exceptionally high. The only place that has unique locked LP mechanisms to prevent rugs so that you can have actual trust in this kind of long-term alignment with the creators that are coming. And there's a bunch more things coming for it as well. I definitely encourage people to check it out. It's super fun, easy to launch a token, play around. The communities and the experiments are great. I know, Seong, there's a lot of talk about CTOs, community takeover on Jupyter Studio. Can you say anything about that?
Yes, the studio team is actually in Malaysia today, so we've been talking about it. Like some of the things that we can improve on studio. I think one of the biggest requests is like, how do we do CTO? We've been thinking about some of the things that to do it. Yeah, I think when it's live, I think it'll be quite cool. Yeah, you can actually do CTO directly on the token page. Yes.
Which would be very cool. And again, features that no one else has. Let me just make something super clear about Jupyter Studio. It is not meant to be a pump killer. It is not a direct competitor with the Let's Bong Launchpad. Both of those, great products, incredible teams, very grateful for their success. They've helped expand the pies themselves, right? So shout out to Tom and everybody else, my guy Nam and everybody else out there. What Jupyter Studio is meant to be is kind of like a place for new experiments, for a new meta to come together. That's why we don't use the same settings. That's why you get customizability. That's why there's this on-chain vesting, so you can actually understand where the tokens are going. All of these kind of features are a different meta. So the goal is not to be like, hey, we're building pump, but a little bit better. No, we're trying something kind of different. And it's important to have that expectation when you come into it. There are certain things that other launchpads can do that engineer different kinds of outcomes. But here we're really going for a creator first, community first idea. And that's why I think this is really exciting. Very different users, as Broda says, and he is correct. Moonshot Create, another thing that we're really thinking about pushing forward. Moonshot helps introduce the next generation of crypto curious people into the Web4 and social monies movement, so you can expect more there. And we have a number of high profile partnerships and a robust PR strategy coming up around Web4. So if you've been missing Meow, if you've been like, where's Meow? I want to hear him talk more. You're going to get more Meow coming through. A bunch of folks we're going to be working a lot on this. Let me just tell you that. So if those are the types of things that you think are important for Jupyter to be focusing on, new product, new revenue that make the product suite more sticky and improve retention, more perps and JLP usage and activity, more users being onboarded net new to crypto, and building the best trading tech. Obviously, I think we all know that's important. And then, of course, Web4 and social monies. If those are the kinds of things that you think are important, join us. Come into the community, become a part of what we're trying to build here, and you're not going to regret it. All right, let's go next to work with Jupyter. This is the final section before we start to round this out. We have about 13,500 people across channels here. work with Jupiter, a few things to say. The first one, on the partnership side, if you want to partner with us, we now have partnerships at jupe.ag. You don't have to just DM random people till you get there. You can send an email over there. Specifically, we're looking for AMMs, people that want to integrate our tech. We'd love to have you. If you are issuing assets like RWAs, or if you're a DeFi platform, anything like that, if you can use Jupiter tech or Jupiter can use your tech, reach out, partnerships at jupe.ag. Integrations, this one is all you, Xiang. I'll let you say this one.
Yes. Obviously if you're launching a new AMM or anything like that, let us know. We will do the integration. People sometimes surprised that I'm still the one who's doing the integration. But yeah, like Brian is also helping as well, and obviously PA. Then if like I mentioned earlier, if you want to do a full-on wallet for your specific region or anything like that, talk to us as well. We have the full Ultra API for you to use. What else will be interesting?
If you're a market maker, you want to get integrated into Jupiter Z, reach out as well.
Yes, reach out as well. Yes.
Cool. And then finally, we are looking for four new team members, excuse me. So we need a head of events. So if you have experience planning events all over the world, please do write us at careers@jupe.ag. If you are a developer, but only really based in Singapore or Malaysia, send us an email. We are looking for legal counsel as well. Shout out to the lawyers. We were joking about not liking the lawyers. Xiang was joking. He loves lawyers. And we do need some legal counsel, not for anything specific, just in general, especially around some of the corporate structuring elements with all the acquisitions and so on. So we have some legal debt to pay off there. It's nothing to worry about. And then finally, we'd love a business development person, particularly somebody institutionally focused who has a strong institution network in New York City. If that's any of you, reach out to careers@jupe.ag.
Actually, one thing that was actually very interesting is I've been spending a lot of time on recruiting as well. I think we have I think over the last 3 months, we have some like really legit people join, especially on the Jupnet side. Jupnet team actually is actually very strong right now. I just made 2 offers today. One is actually very fundamental for a lot of contract developments on Solana moving forwards, and he said yes. That will be pretty cool. Hopefully, we can soon like share who they are. For most people, they don't know who they are, but for developers, people building on Solana, they'll be like, wow, like this guy is joining Jupiter. I'm quite excited for it. Then the second one is more like a head of product from a public company. He's joining us as well. That will be pretty cool as well. Yep.
I don't even know who the second guy is. I'll have to look. Even I'm getting alpha on this call, folks. That's how much alpha there is to share. We can't even go through it all individually. Well, all right, folks. We're gonna start wrapping it up here. Obviously, we've covered a lot of ground from kind of this high-level view of everything that we did on the product level in Q2, which was a fuck ton, and nobody ships like Jupiter, to a business overview, more than $38 million in revenue. And reminder, 50% of all Jupiter on-chain revenues do go to the Litterbox Trust. I know I saw some comments, people be like, oh, they just do revenue share. Like, pay attention to the Litterbox Trust is what I would say to you. We talked about the strategic partnerships. We lead Solana in partnerships, is my opinion. Just look at the names on those lists. Everyone wants to work with Jupiter, and that's only going to accelerate and creates this exponential growth possibility where we're no longer going linear, but exponential. And then we talked about JupeNet, the initial chains, public testnet, early Q4, along with some things that we're looking forward to. The full PDF report, it looks beautiful. It's coming out tomorrow. Again, shout out to all of the design team over at Jupiter who put that together. Shout out to Morton, Srijani, Benliu, Dianis. I'm definitely forgetting somebody, but everybody who helped out, thank you. You were incredibly useful in this process. I know I've been a bit of an asshole the last few days to get this done. I appreciate you not wanting to leave. That's very kind of you. The shop on the design side, Viet as well. And folks, this is not it. I know we didn't really take as many questions today because we had a lot of ground to cover, and we wanted to make sure to get to all of it. But tomorrow at 12 p.m. UTC, we are going to do a special public Q&A on anything that's in the report. So you can scan this QR code if you want to submit a question. We'll take the questions in advance and then kind of respond to them tomorrow on a Twitter space on the @JupiterExchange handle. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, 12 p.m. UTC. And folks, my last request here, if you're still watching, If you liked this, tweet about it and tag me. I would love to know. A lot of work went into putting this together. It's the first time we've done it. No one else in crypto really does anything like this. I hope that it's useful to folks.
I would wait for the report. The report is a lot. Like, this is
the
cool.
report is even more.
The report
That's
is
true.
cool as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The report is
That's right. And in particular, let me know what you thought of this call. And then after the report comes out, let us know, did you like it? And how can we make it even better next time? Because if there's enough kind of support for this, we'd like to do this every quarter to keep the community involved at every step of the way. But we'll see. Seong, any final words that you want to say?
No, I mean, I think one, again, right, I think, this is basically what we have been doing over the last, technically not just the last 3 months, like the last 6 months, but obviously moving forwards, we will do this quarterly. So it's very good. It's actually a very good overview for what we have been doing for the last 3 months. But again, Jupiter is not just for the last 3 months. Right? We've been building this for the last, at this point, close to like four years right now. One thing we realized is that over the last 4 years, things, I remember the first day we launched, we did like 25 million volume or something like that across all chains. I mean, across all Solana. And now, I think every day we're doing about $1 billion or 2 billion volume. Like you can see the growth, right? We basically went from 25 million to now, let's say 2 billion, almost 100x growth. Here we still believe that moving forwards, the growth will be, I personally believe that will be another 50 to 100x more.
Agreed.
That's why there are two main focus that we really want to focus on, which is to make sure that we are still the best for people to trade any tokens. So that's one thing. Then the second thing is obviously to bring more assets on chains. If you really look at our strategy right now, it's working with StockX or XStock. So basically to bring more, allow people to start trading stock on chains. Then Jupiter Studio is basically allow people to do different experiments to create more social money, to let people to trade all these different to form community to trade all these different tokens on chain. I think down the road we'll see more things that we've been working on to bring more stuff on chain as well. Basically, I would say two main goals: to make sure that we are the best place for people to trade, to make sure that we can bring more assets on chain as well.
That's right. The revolution is coming, folks. We're trending towards a world with not 1 million tokens, but 1 trillion tokens. Jupiter is going to be at the center of that. That is a fact. The last thing that I do want to say here is make sure to read the full report. It's going to have some even more details. We're going to have more specifics, particularly on Jupnet and a few other pieces. I think that folks will enjoy it. The future is very bright. We do this call specifically for the token holders. I know that there's been complaints or issues. We do this because I think that the narrative in public has gotten away from the truth and the reality of the situation. If you look at this Q2 report, you will see that we are every day, 20 hours a day in the trenches trying to make things better for everyone on chain. And that's not going to stop no matter what. And we're going to keep doing that until the whole world is saying the 3 most beautiful words in the English language. Just use Jupiter. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. We'll see you very soon. Bye.
Bye.